We've had an absolutely gorgeous run of weather here in the UK over the last few weeks. Bit of a drought though coming on, and we are having to water to keep these borders looking fresh. Oxeye daisy with those Siberian irises looking really well in this border, which has struggled in previous years. Rose in the foreground is the generous gardener. One of my favourite roses to grow, gives such good value during the season. From the time it breaks bud, these beautiful crimson red fresh growths and new leaf on it, and then to be rewarded with such an abundant, and as the name suggests, generous crop of these really full double flowers. They're as good as any peony in my opinion, held beautifully on this rose arch. There's quite a few other little roses coming along here. Not sure which one this is. Might be able to help me out. Cream yellow centre, fading to a pure white. Full double flower, not too large. Again with a red new bud growth. We don't know the name because it's been planted here for 60 years probably. We're trying to bring it back into some form of condition by watering and soil conditioning on the base here, which is actually planted over the old driveway that led to the old farmhouse. Just love these Siberian irises, they've been so good this year. Lovely rich colour, held so nicely at around 3 to 3.5 feet. This is the first year this little Philadelphus has done anything as far as flowers concerned. Seen a lot of dieback like this on them all across Norfolk this year. I think it's down to the dry weather and the sudden change in heat from very cool to very warm. But the front of the farmhouse looking absolutely superb. It's been lathered in roses, the most generous of which is this little one here, just coming to the end of its initial flowering spur, planted in with Albertine, which is the darker pink, larger flowered version. And we got some lovely arches of that coming right the way down, almost to the floor. More oxeye daisy, gravel planting, and just look at the climbing rose on this back little parapet where used to be a greenhouse in this area many decades ago, which we'd love to restore and put back in place. One of our to-do lists, but unfortunately we'd probably have to lose or move this beauty, which again this season just absolutely covered in these gorgeous apricot double flowers fading to that creamy white. No scent on this one, but a good healthy foliage, which this year's been good to see because we've had so much black spot. Difficult season for rose gardeners. A lot of the new roses planted in these new borders last year are just starting to flower now. Really picking up the colour in this evening light. Delphiniums, the catmints looking wonderful. Massive bees on these from dawn till dusk. This whole pathway just buzzes. But it's a combination of plantings in here that's been so inspiring this year. It wasn't really planned. None of those foxgloves were planted. They're all self-seeded in amongst there, and what value they've given us as a free extra on top of the late spring colour, filling in these borders. A basis geranium planted around them, doing really well, almost ready for a cutback, and then these borders are going to be all about the roses for the rest of the season. Last of the colour in this bright red astrantia just starting to fade now, and we're not going to deadhead that because these are all self-seedlings that Kate collected at the end of last season and brought down into this new border. This is going to continue into a dark purple planting. Some of the roses in here, as you can see, are really dark purples and crimson burgundies. Philadelphus we moved in the middle again, doing really well, but we're having to water that regularly. I'm just looking forward to the changes that we're going to get in this border as we cut back some of the early herbaceous and try and get a second flush in time to fill in with roses, more delphiniums, and some of the later herbaceous plantings that we've got in this border. Oxeye daisies just give you that lift in this while you're waiting for those to fill in. Been very successful, and again more free foxgloves. Combination of the colours just working beautifully. Not absolutely sure if that sky blue delphinium works in here with the pinks. I suppose it does with the pinks and whites, less so with the catmints in the foreground. But beauty of gardening is, if you don't get it right first time, it can be moved and you get a second chance and a third and a fourth in subsequent seasons.